I did hear of another sick call. Larry Nadelson, I understand, is in the hospital. I don't know too much about it other than I think he was experiencing some passing out, so let's keep him in our thoughts too.
Which hospital is he in?
New Virtual. Okay, New Virtual. Now, I'm very happy to have the opportunity to serve you. Not your breakfast, but as your president. It's actually something I was looking forward to, so I'm appreciative of the opportunity. What makes it so much easier for me to be able to stand up here is that there's so many good people that are on the board and members here that just jump right in and handle things, and I pretty much just have to mention something and I know it's going to be done. So I'd just like to introduce the board because we have some new members, and that way you would get to see who they are and know their office. So first we have Vice President of External Affairs, Rich Moskowitz. Rich? That's you. Just so you know who Rich is. Vice President of Operations, Dave Schwartz. He's not here today. Also, we have a Vice President of Athletics, Barry Rosenberg, and he is not with us today. The Vice President for Finance, Ed Stein.
I want to thank all the table captains, everything to the penny.
All right.
Who's collecting pennies?
And again, that makes it that much easier for everybody when we do that. Assistant Treasurer for a change, Marty, who again, Marty has done this for so many years. I mean, I even had hair the last time I remember him starting this. So, Vice President for Religious Affairs, Bill Roth and Rich Duckin. Bill, thanks for having that brief ceremony for us today. Vice President for Communications, Randy. And Randy's already been invaluable to me, and he's a great teacher. He told me all about PDF files, and we're cooking. Recording Secretary, Dave Nerdoff, and Dave is always there with the video. And you know, what's interesting about it, sometimes we might take that for granted, but one of our members, again, Arnie Rosen, was really upset that he couldn't be here today, with his eye surgery. And he was really happy when I reminded him that whenever Dave gets a chance to post it, he'll be able to see our speaker. So it's really a nice thing that we do there. Our JCRC representative, Ed Silver. Immediate past president, Jerry Mitzner. And past presidents, Bob Greenberg, Larry Nadelson, who is also, as we said, in the hospital, Mike Perloff, and Dave Williams. Great job that they do. And we have positions without portfolio, that's Barry Adler and Ned Bulmish. Okay, so, when everybody does a little bit, it makes just a huge difference in getting things done, and it's really very rewarding in that regard.
Don, speaking of getting things done, I'd like to ask the guys that made breakfast and coffee this morning to stand up because they did a great job.
Please do. The whole thing, nothing happens unless somebody makes it happen. Breakfast, a lot of guys come here, the breakfast is there. I thought I was going to be here early today. These guys were already setting up when I got here. So, again, we really appreciate their efforts, and we certainly don't take it for granted.
What about membership?
Well, Dick isn't here, but I have that later on in the agenda. Okay? Okay. As far as goals that I would like to see our organization to attain, we really need to increase our membership, and in particular to try to attract younger members. I'll be mentioning something later on that might help us in that regard, but we really need to continue to add new people, because that's where our strength comes from and that's where our future leaders will be coming from. I'd also like to see us increase our contact with MAR, the Mid-Atlantic region. I think they're a very viable resource for us and one that we should be availing ourselves of.
There's people who probably don't know what MAR is.
Mike, I'm going to ask you, since I know you're going to the convention, if you don't mind. Oh, Dave, that's right, Dave.
Okay.
The MAR is the Middle Atlantic region of the Federation of Jewish Men's Clubs. And we are located with the MAR. I am actually the contact for the Mid-Atlantic region with this club, so that any initiatives that come down the pike might come directly to Don, or might come to me to pass on to Don. Vice versa, if Don has a problem that he wants explained or answers or something like that from the region. So I'm like the midpoint between the two. What Don's also indicated is that that more activities might be forthcoming in relation to that. The MAR is the arm of the Federation of Jewish Men's Clubs, and I know Ed has indicated he's going to do some follow-ups. Most of the major programs come out of the Federation of Jewish Men's Clubs, and they're published by the Federation. The Mid-Atlantic region, however, is the conduit from taking that from national, actually it's international, covers Canada also, and bringing them back into the various men's clubs. And I think Ed has already done some follow-up and trying to get some of these programs that have been published in the past and have been successful, and try to see if we can implement them here.
Explain what federation is.
The Federation of Jewish Men's Clubs is the organization which every Jewish men's club from the conservative movement belongs to. It's the central body. It's like saying that the National Hockey League is the organization to which all of the individual hockey clubs belong to. It's the umbrella organization. It's the organization that has set the rules, regulations, guidelines under which each of the men's clubs operate. Is that good enough?
Who's FJMC goalie? Who's the goalie for FJMC?
I just want to put it on down.
Your head.
Every year we order Yom Show candles, and we order it from the Jewish Federation of Jewish Men's Club out in Arizona, Las Vegas. Offices for that. And every year I call up and I tell them South Jersey Men's Club number 503, and they say, "Well, what shul you belong to?" And I tell them we don't, and they don't understand. Every time I have to explain the situation that yes, we are a member, we're a real men's club, and then I get my candles. We're unique.
We are very unique. And the other goal I'd like to see us, and this is probably, I think, one of the ones that will be most difficult, is to find us a sort of a permanent home to have our meetings. This is working out really well for us. It's still nice to be able to have some place where we could leave our plaques up on a permanent basis and get that recognition. So that'll be something that we'll try to address as... my den would probably work, but I don't know if we could fit 45 guys.
Who wants to travel 20 miles to get to his house?
That's right.
This room is better than the beach.
Yeah, this will work.
Explain about the plaques.
All right, the plaques that we do have that are on the back table, we have submitted applications for competition with MAR, and we have done very, very well. I'd like to see us get more involved with that again, but we have a number of plaques that we've been recognized for, and I don't have them in front of me, but if you'll look at those, especially the new members or potential new members on your way out, it's another way of us getting the recognition that we do so much, we should get the recognition for it. Okay, under finance, again, I'll thank the table captains. It made it a lot easier for Ed today. And also, I'd like to thank Steve and Sam. They handled the 50-50s. And again, one of the things we're trying to do is to handle the 50-50s prior to the meeting and prior to our guest speaker, just out of courtesy to them that we're not disrupting their presentation. Ed, can I ask you also to mention about the use of the postcards? I think we're going to...
Yeah, one of the things we discussed was the cost of putting postcards out every month, since most people have email. And what we'd like to do is do away with them. The cost is about, I think around 70, Marty, between postage and printing, 70, 80 bucks?
65%.
All right, so somewhere, you know, $750, $1,000 a year just for doing that. And most people have email. Now, we realize maybe some people don't. So what we thought was maybe if we could do away with those, we'd do like a small phone tree. For those people who don't have email, we'd call them and remind them. But Randy does a great job of sending reminders out on all the meetings 2 or 3 times. So I just, as a poll here, does someone not use email here? Raise your hand if you would, just to get an idea. Wow. Sounds like we got a winner.
Just remember that the people here got emails. The people who are not here may not have had emails.
No, they got postcards though. The postcards went out this month.
Yeah.
No. But I mean, as a, it looks, you know, so maybe the people who aren't here, maybe 5 of them, you know, don't have emails. So, Mike?
I don't think I'm the only one, but I rely on my postcards sitting up on my refrigerator to remind me, and my family reminding me to go. Is there anybody else in that situation? Print your email.
Well, I think you got to make a decision. You know, we're strapped for money. We don't want to.
I got to make another decision. Oh.
We don't want to raise our dues. I mean, it's $1,000. Can you print the email when you get it and put it up on the refrige? I mean,
I suggest that you just find out from the members which ones are willing to take email only. I'll take email only. I'm fine with that.
All right. We'll come up with a final decision.
Yeah,
we'll
do a form for the next meeting, and we'll let you check off if you don't need a postcard. That way we'll save that much more money. It's no use wasting the money, and as long as the message does get out that we are having a meeting, that's the important thing.
Maybe on the postcard, you could put it something to that effect, that if you definitely don't have email, to notify it, so they could be...
Yeah, if people have email and they still want the postcard, we'll prepare a list for next meeting. You'll just be able to check off if you want to still get the email, and if we could save a few bucks, we'll save a few bucks. Thanks, Ed. We also, Dick Knopf is not here, but we also have been working quite a bit on a JAG survey, the Jewish Athletic Group, and the membership interest survey, as well as revising our brochure. Dave's been very instrumental in helping us with the brochure. So we hope to be able to get those out, hopefully with our next meeting, and that encourages everybody to participate and give us some ideas. And you know, already today, one new member, our potential new member, has said he's willing to be a speaker, and that's how we find these people.
Don, in view of the fact that Dick Knopf is here, the potential new members, do we have them already signed in?
I have their names and phone numbers. Thank you for reminding me of them. And I will pass that along to Dick. As far as a JAG report, we have...
Dick gave me these to give to you.
Oh.
These are the surveys and the other things.
Well, I know the JAG, but we do have the surveys. I was trying to figure out who Dick had sent them in. So maybe I could have, let me start. Bob, maybe you just hand them out for me. Would you mind? And that way we could try to get those going.
With pencils?
And there's pens up here. I was trying to find who had those, and I'm glad. Yeah, it would be very useful to get that information back.
Dave. Oh, look at that, all these patches. Jerry! The wind took it.
Okay, I'm going to ask Dave to give us a report as far as softball results.
The question was raised, what's JAG? JAG is the Jewish Athletic Group, which we formed here. And Don had mentioned before that we have all these plaques and so forth. The Jewish Athletic Group we submitted as an award prospect to the Federation of Jewish Men's Clubs at their biannual convention about 14, 16 years ago, a long time ago. And we came in first place and got a first place award for forming JAG. JAG is the organization which consists of basically men's clubs, or they're all men's clubs, although we have Chabad, I guess it's a men's club too, in this area, which get together to play sports in various areas on a friendly, competitive basis. We've been going since 1996, so we're getting close to our 20th anniversary coming up 2 years from now. We'll finish 20 years there. This year, over the course of the years, we've played a lot of sports. The linchpin has been softball, but we've also had racquetball, tennis, bowling. We've had basketball for some time, pinochle. We had bridge one year. Basically, the thought is if somebody has a sport they want to play and are willing to take the time to determine what kind of league rules and where we play and what it costs, whether you need insurance and all that, we play any sport.
Yeah, we need insurance for pinochle. That's a tough one.
Well, okay, the person who runs pinochle decided we do not need insurance to play pinochle.
The way you play?
Well, I need insurance, not that the organization needs insurance. Okay, so this year, as usual, we had softball. And softball, we had 12 teams in 2 divisions. The team this year had a terrible start. And with an uphill climb, we made it into the top 4. We won the first round in the playoffs. The second round in the playoffs, however, we had to play the best team in the league that only lost two games all year. We gave them a very tough match. We lost by about 4 runs apiece, but they had big leads and we came back. We didn't give up. And so the season is over, but hopefully next year, hope springs eternal, we'll do a little bit better. One of the reasons we didn't win was because Don and his son decided that they had to get married before the softball season was over. So his son got married and Don said, well, my son's getting married, I have to be there. Why? Ask me, ask Don. But it was a very good season. Now, I'm going to be arranging for the pinochle tournament. And later on, there's going to be tennis maybe. Larry has played tennis. One other thing that's coming up, by the way, which is not part of JAG, it's part of the Mid-Atlantic region, which we've talked about before, is a thing called Tour de Shul. And it's a bike ride, or bike race, I'm not sure how that gets determined, from a central point where I think we're going to start off at Bethel, and there's going to be another race in Pennsylvania, because we have clubs in Pennsylvania, clubs in New Jersey. And there's going to be a tour laid out and come back to, I think, the same shore. Alan Finkelstein is our representative on that organization. So we not only have the JAG sports, we have that. And one of the things we want to have done with the forms that we're going out here is when we have new members, we should have been doing this for years. We had prior forms which weren't used, but we want to ask the members a lot of questions, including if you are like to play sports, what sports do you want to play? And give them a little information so that they can then tell us and we can enter them in the sports that we actually participate in. Okay?
Great. I did make my comeback this year after a long layoff with softball. I was at first base. That is, they used me as first base. I didn't say I played first base.
Who's you or abuse you?
On my last hit, I'm still trying to get to first base, but it was a lot of fun, and my son did get married last Sunday, so we weren't there for the championship, but that's why we had to skip that one.
Well, the fact that you have a son means you got beyond first base.
That's true, too.
One thing about the softball, one of the reasons that Don played was when my sons were at home, I played softball too, was the sons would join the men's club so that they could have an activity with the father. So for those of you who are like, you know, maybe you'll play softball, maybe you won't, that's a consideration. It's, I found it to be a good bonding thing.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Don, one question which just came to me. The form says return this form to. Who should people return the form to?
I would like the forms returned to me, please, today, and I will give them to Dick for his analysis, and he could compile all the information. So all of the forms could come right back to me. Thank you. Also, Dave, did you mention about the picnic?
Oh, okay, yeah.
Did I miss?
We were just talking about JAG, and I forgot about the picnic. Okay, every year, JAG has a picnic which completes the season, so to speak, for softball. Normally, the picnic is the middle of July. We finish the season at the end of June. Today's the last day of the season. We have July the 4th holiday, and the following week is the picnic. This year, the picnic's been postponed 2 weeks. The picnic is basically for any athlete. You don't have to have been on the softball team, although it's primarily a softball event. And if other people want to go. The picnic is held at the Jewish, at the JCC camp out, what's Medford. In Medford. And basically, it's no charge to you. Each club is already paid to have it. You can have hot dogs and hamburgers, obviously kosher, no cheeseburgers, chicken, drinks. There's a softball game. There's a home run hitting competition. You can use all of the facilities out at the JCC camp. Now, this year, they've moved it for one reason or another to last Sunday in July, which also happens to be when we have our next meeting. Now, I told Don that in some ways that might be good if people want to go. We can have our meeting here next Sunday, and then anybody that wants to go could go in a group, either in the caravan or one car would take a number of people to go out to the picnic. So what I'm suggesting here to Don is if people here might be interested in going, please contact Don. By email may be best.
Absolutely.
Thing. By email, if you want to go, and then Don will see maybe about whether we get a caravan or so forth, somehow make arrangements for a group to go. But to me, it sounds like a great event, and it can tie two things together. Our next meeting and the annual JAG picnic.
Great. And I'll certainly ask Randy to send out a reminder of that. Now, one of the things, as I had said, we're trying to encourage new members, particularly young members. I came up with the idea of an activity that I think would be a lot of fun for us, those that wanted to participate. And it's actually forming our own fantasy football league. I've been involved with one for 8 or 9 years. It's a lot of fun. I sent out, hopefully some of you saw it, a description, a basic description of how it works. But basically you would have a draft. We'd have a draft day, which I'll be looking at the August meeting. And one person could own a team, 2 or 3 people could combine to own a team. I'm trying to encourage the interaction. It's especially good, again, if you have a son or a grandson that you would like to be able to share something with. All of you could be here for that draft. And you pick players, you bid on players. Every player in the NFL is a free agent, and you would select your team, and then it goes on CBS Sportsline, and you would instantly be able to see the updated information as your player scored a point or threw a touchdown. I brought the draft board that we actually get from CBS. This is our draft board from last year. So you can see all of the players are listed, and they come pre-printed from CBS by position. So as you select a player, you get to go up and you put him on your team, and you fill out your whole roster of 17 players in this way. Players that get hurt, you're able to replace them. There's no extra charge for replacing a player. They're called a free agent. So I'm just trying to get some idea. I know I already have at least 2 people that have said they would like to participate. To really make it as easy as possible, we probably would need 10 teams. 10 teams. 12 is ideal, 10 is great. And again, when I say a team, it could be multiple ownership. That would be even more enjoyable because then you'll be able to team up and help select your players. But it's kind of interesting because what we use is we use what's called a bid auction type format. So if you have a favorite player, whoever's the highest bidder, you have a $100 fictitious salary cap that you have to spend $100 on the first 8 players you pick. So if you have a favorite player, it's pretty much assured you could get that player as long as you're willing to be the highest bidder for that player. But you only get the $100 for your first 8 rounds. Can I get some idea, whether, just a show of hands, whether it be people that will be interested in partaking in this?
You didn't tell anybody what the cost was.
Oh, thank you. And the cost is, quite honestly, a variable. The league that I've been involved with for the last 8 years, we charge the owner $115. 15 of that goes to CBS because they're doing all of the technology. We also have it where if there's 12 teams, obviously there's 6 games a week, CBS randomly would generate the schedule. We don't do that. We try to keep a level playing field, no pun intended. And each team that wins for the week, so if there's 6 games, because we have 12 teams, that winner would get $5 for that week. So every week we have 6 teams getting $5. That comes out of the pot at the end, and then first, second, and third split the difference. So just for example, the league that I was in last year, the last place team that finished 12th got $25 back. Most people got $45 to $50 back. So it's not where it's an overly big expense. It's actually very nominal for the amount of fun that you would have in doing it. So let me ask any questions somebody might have. And again, if I get a show of hands of who would be interested, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. All right, it looks like we would have enough. Maybe I'll try to circulate a sheet of paper, but it looks like we'd have enough to actually form a league, because I know we already have 2 people plus the 6 here, and I think we'd have no problem getting to 10. But we'll try to have the draft at a regularly scheduled meeting in August, because we usually don't have a meeting in August. So since we have the room here anyhow, I would construe this as being very similar to the investment club type activity, and we'll use their room. Any questions on fantasy football? And again, if you know of somebody that would like to join, this is a fun activity that they could get involved with. Okay, thank you. JCRC report, Ed?
In addition to the JCRC report, Don asked me to address a couple of other issues. As you know, we've been doing a book exchange, and I think it's been successful. A lot of people have been enjoying the books that we're turning in. We checked with the JCC, and the library also accepts music CDs. So when we don't have any takers for the books, we donate them to the library here. So we're now going to add to the book exchange, music exchange. So here are the first 2 CDs available. I'll put them out. And if anybody takes them, they go to the library. Okay? So anybody who wants Glenn Miller, you can fight over it. I'll put it over there in a second. In addition, the board is exploring a program where we're not sure how to use it yet, we bought a series of lectures on the Hebrew Bible, and we're not sure if we want to use it. There's going to be a screening of the lectures to see if it's of interest. If it is of interest, we're not sure whether it's going to be something like the investment club where we'll have a Bible study, or whether we'll just use one meeting a year to talk about the lecture on the Hebrew Bible. Anyway, so as a reminder to the board members who would read the screen, it's going to be at Jerry Minster's house Tuesday, the 9th of July at 7:30 at 11 High Ridge. We're opening it up, though, to any members who might like to join us to look at the screening and give us your suggestions and ideas. So if anybody here beyond the board members wants to participate, just see me after the program. To Jerry's house Tuesday the 9th at 7:30. In terms of the JCRC, and I'm also on the board of the Federation's Super Sunday campaign. You probably know by now that there was a big controversy with the Evesham School Board, and the JCRC was involved in that. For those of you who don't know, the board, without being aware of it, scheduled the school day to start on Rosh Hashanah, and some members of the Jewish community asked them to move the date. The school board superintendent denied moving the date. There was a controversy. And as a consequence of that controversy, one of the school board members made some blatantly anti-Semitic remarks. Those people were here when we had a program in the military. We had Sergeant Einstein and the member of the Yellow Ribbon Club. Anybody here for that? Remember it? Well, if you remember, one of the presenters was David Silver from the Yellow Ribbon Club. Well, he's one of the Jewish board members, so I got a very strong on-site report. He's allegedly my son. My wife knows who her son is. I hope that's not going to be taped.
It's on tape.
You gotta remember you're on tape.
First light fee, we can edit it.
What eventually happened was that there was so much controversy. The JCRC was involved. David Snyder was involved. The JCRC did not request the person to be removed from the board, but eventually she did, under pressure, resign from the board. What was as disturbing to me, I'm very passionate about separation of church and state, and I'm active in a few other organizations that promotes the separation of church and state. Unbeknownst, and not a lot of publicity was brought to this, but the same woman brought a Catholic priest to a school board meeting to give a prayer. Yeah. And since it's a public school with public funded money, we regard this as a no-no. Yeah.
Oh, just one.
You're going to be getting phone calls, emails, or actually somebody knocking on your door in the fall. You may have seen this advertisement in the Voice.
Our new member said he would be glad to speak. He's an author.
Another time.
Okay.
Because it was like
all right, so I'll call on you and then we'll...
They're asking everybody to answer the phone instead of seeing the voice, their identification.
You could say something, I thought about it, something that went out of my head, but one of the things, I asked me to do a slight report on if the fugitive safe surrender thing, the thing that we all did.
Okay.
So please cooperate. In addition, I would like to see a good turnout from the men's club. Super Sunday has a follow-up plan somewhere in the summer. It'll be 3 nights at this building to do follow-up phone calls as a follow-up to Super Sunday. And I would love to see a turnout from the men's club to do the phones. If you've never done the phones before, it's really very, very simple. There is a script to follow. Most of the time when you make calls, you're going to get a voicemail anyway. Some people will, not be very nice, but you don't take it personally, they'll just hang up. But they're needing more and more funds to fund the Jewish charity for Federation. So I'm hopeful we'll participate in that. As the dates come up, I'll notify Randy, and they'll go out. Thank you.
Thank you, Ed. Just a reminder too, we collect eyeglasses, phones, the music and toiletries. Those are all in the back, and we also have the book exchange. You're welcome to take a book if you haven't done so already, and whatever's left over we give to the JCC. Dave Wynn, do you have anything you want to add on the JCC?
Yeah. As you all know, I'm the contact. Did I turn something off?
You broke it.
There we go.
Yeah, I'm the contact between this club and the JCC. And I and my wife work very hard on a lot of the programs that go on here. One of the things they do is called lifelong learning. And every 3 months, they come out with a new brochure and a lot of programs. This just came out. All of these things in here are daytime activities, so you have to be retired already to participate in them. But there's a lot of great stuff here. There's movies, there's discussions about current events, there's discussions about a number of different things. There are music programs, there's a trip to a theater. There's a lot of very, very interesting stuff. Now, I don't know if you get it. Obviously, if you're not a JCC member, you probably don't get it. JCC members get it with the voice that comes out. One of the things I particularly would like to push is a program, a movie that many years ago, maybe 30 years ago, I saw, which I still think is the funniest movie I've ever seen. And I kept pushing that we have it, we have it. And finally, the person that runs the Jewish Film Festival here got it. It's on this program in here. It's going to be on a Monday afternoon. It's going to be a movie and an ice cream social, whatever.
What's the movie?
I'm getting to that. The movie's called The Mad Adventures of Rabbi Jacob. And basically it deals with an anti-Semite, French anti-Semite. It's a French movie, it's in color, it's a beautiful movie. It also has a rabbi from New York meeting over there, and how he's able to, he and the rabbinical students are able to get over a traffic jam by lifting their car and walking it over the cars that are parked on the Long Island Expressway. It is extremely funny, and I really recommend that if you have a chance to go. But there are many other programs here that I would like to have you take a look at. I have brochures here. I can pass them out, but you don't have to worry about it. If you go out to a desk on the way out, they're laying on the top of the desk. They just came out on Wednesday, and I really would like, particularly people who are not working or available in daytime, take a look at this and have an opportunity to participate in these things.
Thanks, Dave.
One correction, you don't have to be a JCC member to get that voice.
Right.
You just have to have donated to the Federation or be a JCC member.
Yeah, there is one thing that Dave brought up. There are two prices. If you're a JCC member or a Federation member, did you say?
That if you donated to the Federation, you should be getting the voice. Yeah.
Oh, okay. But what Dave mentioned here was that difference between members and non-members. There is a higher charge for something that's a non-member than a member. But outside of that, I really would like you all to take a look at it and consider whether you could participate in these things. They're usually very well attended, but I'd like to see some of our group particularly go to some of the stuff here.
And I'll take one at a time. Marty, I understand you have something for us?
Nothing to do with money. Yes, it does. Uh-oh, he's collecting again.
No, I'm not.
He volunteered.
I'm sure most of you know about the Mitzvah Fund. It's essentially... Is it on? Is it on? Yeah.
It is now.
Okay. Anyway, it's a special fund that we use by essentially money that is donated by members so that we can send out cards for things like good events. Unfortunately, sometimes bad events. But anybody who wants to send out a mitzvah card, Len Berman is the individual you would be contacting. If anybody's got a pencil, you can write down. His number is 768-2771. His email address is Len, L-E-N, and A-N-D, Toby, T-O-B-Y, at msn.com. And all you have to do is call him up.
There's a link on our...
Yeah, there's also a link on our website. And essentially all you have to do is contact him and say, please send out a card to whomever, and give the purpose for it. It's a minimum donation of $3. That covers everything. You couldn't even buy a card in a store for that much money.
Let alone pay the postage.
Sorry?
Let alone pay the postage.
Yeah, let alone pay the postage, yeah.
And who gets the money? Who do we give the money?
Oh, and the money would then be sent to Ed Snyder. We have a special account for that, and that money is used essentially when we make donations for the men's club.
Thanks, Marty. Bob?
Just one thing. As a minister of trivia, I'd like to point out to you that for the first time in history, Thanksgiving and Hanukkah will fall on the same day. And it will not fall again until the year 79,000 and some odd. So enjoy it while you can.
Thank you.
Trivia!
Okay, with that, I'm going to ask Mike or Dave to introduce our speaker.
Literally had to break his leg to come here and speak.
That's right. Hi, everybody.
I can't kick somebody with my leg. Yeah.
We're very fortunate today to have a speaker who does not have a habit of speaking in public, but his job is a fascinating one. Sergei Balashav is the Vice-Consul for Security at the Israeli Consulate in Philadelphia. That's interesting, but more interesting was his previous position. He previously was security at Israel's embassy in Cairo. That's interesting, but the time period is even better. It was during the uprising, demonstrations, and the overthrow of the Mubarak government. If you recall, there was an evacuation of the embassies and diplomatic mission at that time. And Sergei, the person who was in charge of security at the time, who ordered the evacuation. Join me in welcoming to the South Jersey Men's Club, Sergei Balashav.
Like as Mike said, my name is Sergei Balashav. I try to introduce myself before I start. Okay, before I start, I introduce myself. I'm 34 years old. I'm head of security here in the consulate. I'm less love to say I'm a vice-consul because my job to be it's a head of security and secure my place. It's my people in my consulate. And it's what I am. I am less vice-consul because I'm not using to do some diplomatic work, just the security. Okay. As I said, I'm 34 years old. I'm married. My wife and my son bring me here, but downstairs, my son is 4 years old. And I start my security life or military life as a student in the military school in Israel. After 4 years, I went to army and to paratroops. I was in the special groups in paratroops, something with, it's a paratroops with bomb unit. So like I said, every time I know how to make bombs, to put them in, but I don't remember how to take them out. It's good for me, like I say. Okay. I was 3 years as a student in the military academy. I signed some contract for 3 years in the army. After, as a student, I already signed something like 3 years to be in the military as an officer. So it's not promised me to be an officer, but yes, we signed it. So I promised everybody to be 3 years. So if I broke my contract, I was supposed to pay some. Not too much, maybe something like $20,000, because I studied, the army paid for me, and what I can do. So I was in the army, I was in the paratroops, I was as an officer, but not in the paratroops. I left paratroops and I went, because I think I found myself to understand, okay, I tried to find something new in the army, and I found a unit, Bedouin unit. It's a, they don't like, I hope nobody from the Bedouins here, because they don't like somebody called them Arabs. Okay, no, not Arabs, they're Bedouin. They are Druze, we are Bedouins, and I was in the Bedouins 1.5 years in this unit. It's very interesting to be there, because it's the soldiers, they don't work. If as a paratroops, as a soldier in the paratroops, you work like rules, like, you know, everything by the rules. There, it's a respect. If the soldier respects you, he will do everything for you. If not, you will find yourself, fight yourself with all the Azads in the world, and with you know, inside, and they will stand and look at you how you do this. They don't care about you. So I find myself coming to this Bedouin unit, and hopefully for me, something happened in the border between Gaza and Egypt. It was some airport, if somebody know about this, there's airport, Palestinian airport, and our security, it was our mission to secure this place. So the people finish their work, they get to the bus, they come on this road, both between Gaza and Egypt. They came to my place, where I was as a soldier, and six terrorists shoot on this bus. Nobody hurt except one driver. So we take everybody out, and I removed the bus from the way, from all the security, all the soldiers' way, for the jeeps and every cars who were supposed to come inside and fight to find these terrorists and shoot them. So I was a lucky guy, because the Bedouins, it was my second week inside this unit, and they look at me, wow. You're such a good guy. You have so much experience. No, guys, it's not I have more experience. You don't have it. That's it. I have my experience from my paratroops unit. You don't have it. So it was very interesting to be there. I was 1.5 years in this Bedouin. I continue. In 2003, I finished with my military service as a lieutenant. Right now, I'm a captain in the Israeli army. If I will return there sometimes, but I'm in jail right now in Philadelphia, what I can do for next year. And I start to think what I'm going to do next, you know. Okay, after you finish your military, it's very difficult. I don't know how it works here, but in Israel, after not so many years, but after years in the army, when you're going released and you're going out, you look at the world and you're asking yourself, what is this? You don't know what exactly it's outside, because the army pay for you, the army give you food, the army give you clothes, everything. You're ready for everything, but you're not really ready to go out to real life. So I found myself in same question, what I'm going to do next step, next thing what I'm going to do, and I sent my resume to some companies, security companies. It was clear for me I want to work in some security company. Of course, I try to secret services, like we say in Hebrew we say Shabak. I'm sorry, it's very hard. My leg is hurt, so I'm taking down my microphone. So if somebody knows Shabak or Mossad, so I try everything, but in the end I found myself going to Israeli airport. Okay, I worked in Israel as a security. There's two groups in the Israeli airport, except police. It's who's standing outside and you can't see them, and inside the airport who you can see. Why you can't? You can, of course, recognize who is the security if you understand how it works, but it's people who wearing the arms, they have a gun, but they're going like me right now, short outside, jeans, shoes. You can't say this is the security immediately. Just if something happened, you see animals, like animals, they start run to save the world and to get and to close. And here it's a very big airport, so in Israel every day they pass something like 20,000 people every day. So if somebody, one of the good things in Israel, we have the people understand if they see some bag standing himself, nobody, do not belong to somebody, somebody will come to you to security and ask you, do you know who belongs to this bag? And you see on this bag, you say, wow, I'm sorry what I'm going to say, shit. If it's going to explode right now, it's going to kill all those people. So you evacuate everybody, you do evacuation, you close the area, and after this, okay, I'm going to try to show you how it works. Sometimes it's a bomb unit coming, and sometimes it's your head of the mission, the head of security in the airport coming to this bag, look at around, okay, how are we going to make this 20,000 disappear? Okay, it's maybe easier to remove this bag. How remove this bag? With a leg, boom. You tell him, okay, next time please, do this when I'm out. Because if it's going to explode, I'm going to explode with you. So why should I? I'm a married guy, I have a child, why should I? So 2 years and a half in but it's between me and you, don't tell it to anybody. 2 years and a half in the airport, and I was once, after 1 year and a half, they asked me if I want to go to France to, for 45 days, not to replace head of security, replace one of the security agents in the Jewish agency. So I thought, wow, cool. 45 days in France, in Paris, it's so cool. My wife looked at me and told me, you're going to France, huh? I told her, okay, listen, you're studying here in the university. I'm going to Paris. I was 30 days after that, for 15 days she came to Paris, and we spent a good time, and it was a decision to leave airport and maybe to go abroad, to work for the ministry abroad. So my first mission, it was in Senegal. It's in Africa. It was a good decision, I think, for me to start somewhere, because I never been in Africa, and I say, okay, if you've never been in Africa and you have money to go somewhere, where should you will go? Everybody, everybody, young people going to Spain, Italy, I don't know, Europe, United States, but never somebody will take himself, spend money, and going to see what really Africa is. So I was in Africa 2 years. 2 years as a deputy, and of course there was one question: how you select your position correctly to hold. It's one of the. I'm trying to answer immediately on the question. So I finished with Senegal after 2 years, and I decided to continue with to work abroad, okay, for the ministry, and we call it head of security, course of head of security from the ministry, from the embassies. Consulate, Israeli Consulate around the world. We have 100, just 100 embassies and consulate around the world, okay? 100, so I'm a special guy on one of these. One of those, yes, one of the head of securities. So it's a course, 9 weeks course. who can be in this course? Everyone who was in the military, in the army, who makes some course of chiefs of army, so it's like a sergeants, okay, sergeants course in the army, or officers. Just those two can be in this course. It's a 9-week course. They teach you in this course not just it's everything. To shoot by the gun, shoot a gun. Okay, it's a Glock 19. It's what we're using, Glock 19. It's how you react. Everything what's happening around you. For example, if somebody that's in my work, it's not like I'm expecting just a terrorist will come and fight with me. It's everything. Try to think like it's every day. I have in my consulate section people coming to asking a visa for Israel to go to Israel. If you say to somebody waiting, and usually it's Israelis, it's an Israeli way, it's Israeli weather. You're waiting downstairs 5 minutes, so you already is telling you, why I'm waiting here 2 hours? You tell them, listen, my man, you're waiting here 5 minutes. So I tell them, yes, but I'm an Israeli. So, wow, so you Israeli, so you as a president here, what? What's happening? So you're telling him, okay, take your things. It's what and they teach you, it's not just to fight, it's like I said, it's to react to everything what's happening around you. Around the consulate. It's not consul talk with him, it's you as a person, a security person, the first one in the first line who will be taking the character on you and start talk with everybody. So I will continue with this Israeli guy, very nervous guy. So you tell him, okay, you take your bags, you take your things, items, medical items. Michael knows this, how we do this exactly, because he visits us every day, almost every day. So we have lockers. We have some lockers downstairs in the lobby. Here we're in the 18th floor. You tell them, okay, take your everything and live in the locker. Why should I? Because I told you I'm a security, so I told you, but I'm an Israeli. So I tell them, okay, I'm an Israeli too, so I don't want to do this. So here you find yourself to tell somebody, okay, listen, my man, it works like this. You have two choices to do something. One choice, the first one, very simple. You do exactly what I'm telling to you to do. You take everything what I told you to do, to take your phone, bags, and everything to leave in this locker downstairs. It's a good choice for you. And you come up and you receive your visa or you renew your passport. Or a second 2 hours and a half way north and east, you have New York, you have Washington. There's very big stuff, security stuff. They will give you all the attention in the world. They give you everything. You will do as you want, okay? But here, if you will, do not do what I'm asking you to do. You know, oops, I'm sorry. Here, the console will be closed for you. So in this course, you'll be learning everything. And after 9 weeks, the ministry, your head of my mission in the ministry, they're sitting and decide where to send every one of these to finish this course. Okay? You can't be perfect guy to be head of security, for example, in some small embassy. But if your head of mission believes you're the better person to, well, I'm going to say something good about myself. I'm sorry. I will try to not to be like this, but yes. So if you decide to send you to Egypt, because in Egypt, it's one of the places it's very difficult to be. And there, in Egypt, on Jordan, on Turkey, this is the person of security who can be, of course, head of security in the small embassy, okay? But it's for you look at you and say for himself, okay, this guy, I want him in Egypt because in Egypt, can do better work, not better work as a head of security, or better work because this is the very difficult place to be. And not everybody you can send there. So, continue to Egypt. So, I take my wife. No, first once I was myself because it's to find apartment, to find, it's a work, it's to learn how to work in this Egypt, in Cairo. It's the first time when I came to Egypt. And I'm going to say something about myself, and everybody from my friends ask me, listen, usually when you tell us you want to go somewhere, some country, you get it. So maybe not to try to ask to go to Iran. I tell them, why not? Listen, Senegal, you was. Egypt, you was in Nairobi, you was there, you was here, so if you will ask to be in Iran, maybe we'll send you there. So I tell them, okay, I'll stop here. And by the way, it works, because I asked to be here in the United States, they send me here. So think about this. Okay, so I received my position in Egypt, and my wife and my son, who was 4 months, came to Egypt with me. I can tell you it's a very interesting country. Very interesting. It's very, I can say a beautiful country. It's very dark and very, I don't know, very, yeah, exactly. But still, it's very interesting to be there. It's around you, almost 99% of Muslims. And once they hate you, and same time they don't. Why not? Because they hate a Palestinian, but they don't tell this like, okay, we hate Palestinians. They see you quietly, they say, okay, we hate the Palestinians, but we don't like you. But they prefer us in the border with them, on this border between Egypt and Israel, they prefer us to be there just because one reason. They don't want the problems from the Palestinians. They don't want the Palestinians inside. Okay? And they're telling you this. They're telling you, listen, we prefer you because you give us security, good security on this border. It's very security border. So, okay. But 3 years, okay. I was in Egypt 3 years. My family were in Egypt 2 years. The difference between 3 years and 2 years. I take this period of time in Egypt, take one part of 1 year and a half, good part, and second, very difficult part. Why? Because when I came there, Mubarak wasn't there as a president. Everything was very beautiful, very nice. We walked around hotels, pyramids in Saqqara, Giza, everywhere. When we want to go, I went with my family, with my friend. Nobody told me anything about this. So we enjoyed very much from this 1.5 years. If you don't believe me, ask my wife. She's downstairs with my son. And the second, it's from the revolution inside Egypt. Revolution, and Mubarak fell down. All the revolution, 17 days. All the revolution, from the beginning to the end, 17 days. 17 days, and if somebody will try to check how much time took to Muslim Brotherhoods, okay, who's right now, they control everything, they have president in Egypt, how took them to take this position and start to be the leader of this revolution in just 7 less days. So 10 days, first 10 days, it's a young Egyptian people who decide to fall down president, went to streets, to Tahrir Square, and make everything, protection, million protection people, it's the million people came to this Tahrir Square, so they fell him down. not the brotherhoods. No. Unfortunately, I don't have computer here, but I bring my USB, and with some pictures from the Egypt, from some movies what I took from my embassy when I was there. So from upstairs to look at this, how people going to this Tahrir Square, it's something, and they look at you like it's one bridge. Here's the building, there's the bridge, and they're standing on this bridge. Look at this Israeli flag, and you see how they put their finger on this flag, and you understand, okay, we are next. Nice. So 17 days, it's what's happened in the revolution. We evacuate everybody. Michael said I was responsible of the evacuation. It's a responsible of the evacuation. Usually, the responsible of the evacuation is the Israeli government. So evacuation, first evacuation, we make it with the revolution. Revolution starts, so we took everybody out, but it was very easy because you take everybody. Okay, you have time, you have everything, you have time, you can take everything. To see how you do this, everything, you have time, something like 24 hours before you evacuate everybody, before the decision, you have time to do this. You have time. So we evacuate everybody. My wife, I told about my wife and all the people who work in the embassy. They stay in Israel 3 months because nobody knows what's the next stop was going to be in Egypt. And of course, we start to see how the people start to come to our embassy and start protest against Israel, against the Israeli embassy, and they ask to people, their government, it was a military government at the same time, to drop out Israeli embassy and the Israeli ambassador from Egypt. And every Friday, you see 20 people, but it's nice. 20 people is something. It's not it's nice, 20 people standing downstairs and trying to, okay, Israel, go out. Nice. After that, it was 3,000 protectors who came and tried to do something against the army. And slowly get out. We came to 10,000 people against Israel, okay, against the Israeli embassy. We understood it's going to be a very bad situation right now. It's going to continue all this thing against us, and still the government decided to take all the families and return them back to Egypt. We continue to live with this situation. It's a second part of 1.5 years. And the big story, it's evacuation. The big, what's happened we found the first Egyptian Spider-Man. If you heard about this, it's the person who took our flag, Israeli flag, from the embassy. He walked up, not from the stairs, on the building, like a Spider-Man. He came up, take our flag and drop it down. Oops, you can't, and you can't do nothing with this. You can't. You can shut him. What, you shut him and what's happening? You will make all the people downstairs to come to you and destroy you finally. Okay? So what are you doing? Okay, it was a first Spider-Man. And after the first Spider-Man came a second Egyptian Spider-Man. So they make T-shirts with Spider-Man, with Israeli flag. I bought it. It was very expensive, by the way. It's the most expensive T-shirt what I ever buy. Something like, okay, in Egyptian, here it's not too much, it's $10, but in Egypt, $10, listen, a person can live 1 week. Okay, we'll continue, and after that, they came with, we'll start more a little before. 1 week before, 2 weeks before what's happening in Israeli embassy, how the evacuation, 2 weeks before, in the Israeli-Egyptian border was a terrorist attack, and 7 soldiers, Egyptian soldiers, was killed, has been killed. They was killed not by, one of them was killed by Israeli soldiers, all the others, 6, by terrorists, Hamas terrorists. Okay, Hamas. It's and still we worked in the neighborhood. We took everybody, all the children, to schools, to nurseries. My son, I took them, and you find yourself start to explain Egyptian what exactly happened in this border, because in the newspaper they show us as an army who killed these people, as a country who killed these soldiers. The T-shirt, the shirt of one of the officers, the Egyptian officers, with blood. So I find myself to explain, trying to explain this some Egyptian guy, I'm sorry. It's not true. It's what's happening inside in this terract, what's happening between us and the Hamas. It's not true. I explained them, the Hamas sent people from Gaza to Egypt. They came from Gaza, from Egypt to our Israeli border. They crossed this border to Israeli side. There's 2 groups. One group on the Israeli side and another group of terrorists on the Egyptian side. So we killed all those in the Israeli side, but the Egyptian side, it was very difficult. How you can shoot on this side? You can't. So our helicopter in the air sees somebody, one terrorist, under position the soldiers, it's a very, some position, it's a very high position, is standing up. You see how this terrorist downstairs shooting across this border to our side, the Israeli side, so helicopter sees soldier, Egyptian soldier, do nothing with this situation. So we shoot on this terrorist and kill this soldier. It's what exactly the Egyptian remember. They said, you kill our soldiers. We are not. We protect ourselves. It's what's happened. So it's 2 weeks before what's happened in the Israeli embassy. So the people in the street, all the Egyptian people they ask Tantawi, it's a head of Egyptian army, and same time he replaced Mubarak as a president. They ask him to give something, because what's happened in the border. They ask him to give us as an embassy, because what's happened there. They saw us as a responsibility of this murder of the Egyptian soldiers on the border. And exactly what's happening. 1 week after we understood something happened around, we tried to make our embassy very, to make it, to put some things, if somebody will try to come in to embassy, to put some items, some things, security things against these people. And wow, I tried to ask an Egyptian to give us permission for all these things, and Egyptians said no. Okay, they said, okay, you see this roof? On this roof we're going to put some special units. On this place, downstairs, everywhere we're going to put special units, so don't worry. Everything will be okay. We are here. Exactly. They were there when it's the same night when it's happened. Jonathan, this is the responsible deputy of the security, the charge of this day on the Friday, this Friday in the embassy. I spoke with him 4 p.m. He told me, listen, 20 people downstairs. So I told him, no, Jonathan, 20 people, it's nothing. It's till 11, till 11 you're going home. So slowly, one after hour, it's already was 3,000 people who called to take out, to drop out Israeli embassy from there, to take their flag down, everything. 3,000 people downstairs. So Jonathan called me and told me, listen, 3,000. I told him, don't worry, 3,000. We saw more than 3,000, 10,000. And of course, after that, it's a Friday, Shabbat dinner. I invite to my house some people, and head of security, my head of security right now in Canada, I was his deputy. He called me and told me, Sergei, come to my house immediately. So I came to his house. He gave me the picture of what's going on in the Israeli embassy over there with Jonathan, and 2 security guys with him, and 3 people. It's all 6 people. He told me, listen, the situation is very bad. I told him, why? So explain me exactly why it's so bad. You remember I told you about the soldiers, they said, the roof near to your building, we're going to put you a special unit. 5 minutes before it started the attack on our embassy, all these special units disappear. They went out. So he told me, listen, they're already on this roof. So I told him, listen, Richard, his name is Richard. I told him, Richard, listen, we don't have choice. Let's start to call all the security staff. It's 19 people, 3 in the embassy, and of course it's making us 16 people in the neighborhood. So I told them, listen, take everybody in. We start talk with him, and to see what we're going to do right now. Now explain about the Israeli embassy in Egypt at the same time. It's 19 families, 78 persons old, 23 of them children. When I say children, it's from 0 age till 17. More like my son. He was 3 years old, 2.5. The most of them of these children, those children, 2.5 years old, between 0 to 3 years old, and some children who learn in school. So try to understand how you take all these 19 families. It's not how you take everybody and evacuate them. You take them out from Egypt. It's not a revolution. It's not same revolution 24 hours. It's now. Because you don't know if the people already in the embassy, inside there, maybe they're already on their way here to this neighborhood to hurt us. So you start thinking about everything. So I gave my head of security the time to talk with Jonathan and Prime Minister and Bibi Netanyahu in the security office in Jerusalem, with Lieberman, with everybody who was there. Head of the Shabak, head of the Mossad, everybody who was there. I gave him this time to arrange the plane who will come and take our families from here, from Egypt, back to Israel. And still, you remember, something happened there in Egypt, in the Israeli embassy. It's my part of the story. I took all the security, all the staff of security, and told them, I gave them a mission, what exactly everybody is going to do. If it's 2 people to take them, I think nobody teach me in my course of head of security, it's exactly what I'm going to do. It's to take 2 persons of the security, send them to airport, and to be in some one point when everybody will going to cross this point, to stop, to take a list and write the name of the person who came there. Everyone. And not forget, every one of them
carrying weapon. Carrying weapon. Okay? Everyone. My wife is carrying weapon. So everybody is carrying weapon. So you must take all this weapon from them and put somewhere. So you tell them, okay, you two in this point on the airport. You two, you take care of this family, this family and this family. You tell everybody what is the mission and same time. And as I said, Egypt, it's very, who was sent to Egypt, it's very, people who, they have something here in the head. Because stupid, if you were stupid, maybe you can lose it. But call it nicely, just lose it. Okay? And same time in the embassy. Jonathan and these two security guys with him, Jonathan sitting on the cameras as the head of the mission, and same time in the embassy, he found a good place, and I think it's a good place to be as a head of the security in this mission, and this Friday, and this same day, to see in the cameras and talk with people and give them the orders. Two guys, it's an embassy in Egypt, it was 17, 18, and 19 floors. So this roof, there is a soldier supposed to be, it's on 17th floor, almost close to our windows, maybe lower, 16th floor. So it's, and from this roof, people trying to come in from by the window inside the embassy. So here you understand you can't shoot in even one bullet to those people, because if you will kill somebody, all those 3,000 downstairs will kill you. They make a lynch. So Jonathan and his security staff, they didn't shoot one bullet in this situation. No one. No one bullet shooting on these people or somewhere. They fight with everything. With everything. When I'm telling you everything, it's economica, it's hot water to push it in the face of the people, everything. They drop some things downstairs, down from the window. They drop everything, but not one shot. Not one shot from the gun. Not one. Same time, everybody tried to call Tantawi and tell them, listen, save, let us people go, like Moses said. And Tantawi, no answer. No answer from Tantawi. So Benjamin Netanyahu called Barack Obama, your president here, and told him, listen, two choices. Again, two choices, not three. Two choices. Or I'm going to send my planes, my helicopters, my soldiers in Egypt to take them off, all this group off, or you will do something. So President Obama told him, give me 1 second. Of course, how Tantawi cannot answer President Obama himself, the God himself. Who can? So Barack Obama called Tantawi, told him like this. Listen, my friend, listen carefully. We have 15 minutes to take those people from the embassy alive. If not, all the money, what I send it to you, I'm going to stop it immediately. All the weapon, what we send it to you, we're going to stop it immediately. And our ambassador in Egypt, we're going to return, take him back. So what do you decide? What's your decision? 15 minutes after, I'm sorry, half an hour after, all the building was full gas, you know, and no people inside. Everybody ran away. They sent inside Alpha Group. Alpha Group in Egypt, they say, Egyptians say it like this. You can't try to make trouble to police officer. It's your problem, not my problem. You can make trouble to soldier outside. Okay, you can try.
but not Alpha. Alpha, it's a crazy person. It's like maybe, what unit you have here, we're crazy?
U.S. Census.
Rangers.
Rangers, yes. Okay. Maybe. So, but those Egyptians, the Arabs, so no mind, no. They don't mind and don't have it. Okay, they're going inside. They see somebody who's trying to stop them. They shoot him. So after half an hour, one of the general called Jonathan and told him, listen, the building is clear. The roof, nobody's there. You can go out. Jonathan looked in the window, saw 3,000 people still downstairs. Tell him, no. This general told him, listen, give me 1 second. 45 minutes after, I called him again. Jonathan, you can't go out. Jonathan looked outside and saw one very nice picture. Soldier, police, fighting with 3,000 people. Completely. Fight, when I'm telling you fight, it was 3,000? No 3,000. They fight with them by the stones, by the weapon, by everything to make them disappear from this area in this time. So he went out. At the same time, we evacuate everybody. We took everybody from neighborhood to airport. I was the last one who stayed in the airport, in the neighborhood. I said my partner, one of the security, I told him, listen, Tzachi, right now we're going to take a call from everyone who was here. Every family, we're going to call them and ask them, where are they? So he told me about my friend who's sitting in front of me, and I gave my car to somebody, to my wife, and one of the security personnel and his wife. So I told him, but we see him here. I told him, you don't care about this. We're going to call everybody. So we called everybody, and we found one family still behind. So we returned, we came back, and we take this family to help them because it was a family, 2 adults and 4 children, young children, between 0 to 3 years. We helped them with a hysterical thing where they took everything from their house because they didn't know if they're going to return there again to see this house. So we took them out. We took everybody out. We came to airport. In the airport, you start again. Your plane already landed. You take everybody in, and you find out some people forgot their passports at home. So no matter, you take everybody. You spoke with police, we talked with police, and we closed everything, all this thing with the police to let him go. And so we evacuate. In the same time, because Jonathan was still in the embassy, still, and this, in the same time I'm telling you, in Israel, decide to leave 3 peers, not 3, but they said, okay, head of security going to stay, Richard, deputy of the ambassador going to stay in Egypt, and before they said we're going to evacuate everybody, and they said we're going to evacuate those people, deputy and head of security, in the same time when Jonathan will be in the airport with his group. So I called to ministry to my boss, and I told him, listen me carefully. Till Jonathan is not here, I'm here in Egypt. I'm not going to leave Egypt if somebody behind me or because it's my friend, not because I'm so cool, I'm so great a person. You see my leg, I broke almost my broke, so I'm not so cool. 6 o'clock, Jonathan was already in the airport. 6 o'clock, before I told my wife, give me my passport, so she asked me, why you? So I told her, why not? You know, I'm like these things, I was born for these things, and Richard needs somebody to be with him, his friend, so it's me, so it's I, so I must stay here. So she gave me my passport, I stay behind, I stay in Egypt with Richard and his deputy of the ambassador. And till 6 o'clock, I was supposed to call my wife and tell her I'm already on the plane home. And I called her, she asked me, you on the way? You landed you already in Israel? I told her, no. She told me, she looked at the hour, same hour in Israel and Egypt. She told me, 6 o'clock now. I told her, yes, but we're going to stay here. She told me, what do you mean stay here? I told her, government decide to keep a deputy ambassador and 2 security guards. It's what we found after in the newspapers. Deputy ambassador and 2 bodyguards stay in the Egypt. So we stay, and where we stay in the as a guest in the U.S. ambassador house. Because why there? Because we're afraid what's happened, and at the same time in the embassy, they came in, they found some secret things inside, and they're looking for us to arrest us as a people of Mossad. So we were there in the ambassador house, United States ambassador house. So Egyptian asked her, they told her, we're going to keep them alive and we're going to keep them safe. So she told them, no. We already saw what's happened there in the embassy. So Jonathan was outside already with his people. We stay there in Egypt. And of course, it was some nice things to be. I don't know how to say it, but somebody asking me if I wanted to be in same time with Jonathan in the embassy. No. As a person, what's happened to him? No. As a friend, as a security guy, yes. This is the answer. As a friend, everyone of the security person who can be in same time there in the embassy, it was make him do his work better and easier. To fight against 400 people who was on the roof to come and trying to come in the embassy just with 2 security guys and 3 people who don't know about security, nothing, it's very hard. So hopefully I'm here in Philadelphia. I continue to be in Egypt from this September till end of the May last year. Flying, going back, flying to Israel, going back to Egypt. Every Sunday in Egypt, and every Friday or Wednesday in Israel. And my son every time look at me with a bag, telling me, Abba, you're going to Egypt? I told him, yes. So I told him, bye-bye. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much for a very interesting presentation. On behalf of the South Jersey Men's Club, I'd like to present you with this certificate of appreciation for being, it includes a 1-year free membership in our organization.
Thank you very much.
And this being my first meeting as president of the organization,
really?
My signature is on here, and it's going to be worth a whole lot at some point in the future. It is definitely a collector's item, though.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. And sir,
Don, over here.
Now, I'm ready. You're not serious. Thank you.
there's gonna what a glare that one's going to be, that picture. Now, there's one other thing we ask our speaker to do. We have a 50-50. And if you'll draw the winning ticket for us,
$50.
and it's $50, if you'll pull one ticket out of there.
Who want to win?
And since he's with security, there'll be no questions as to who is the actual winner. The winning ticket is 374 649. 374 649.
Again, Jerry?
Okay, Jerry, you got it. Thank you so much. Very informative. Appreciate it. It was our pleasure.
And I promise to be here again if you want.
Great, and feel better.
I will, thank you.
Guys, a reminder, the surveys that you filled out, if you would either bring them up here or somebody collect them at each table, I would really appreciate that. We don't want to lose those. And those that expressed an interest in the fantasy football, if you'll just see me for 1 minute at the end of the meeting. And a reminder to the board, I believe August 4th is a board meeting. We'll send something out as a reminder, though.
Investment Club.
Oh, Investment Club is also meeting immediately after this meeting. Thank you so much, everybody.